Hello, I'm Dawson. You know what this video is about. You clicked on it. We don't need to get into, we don't need to explain anything about this show or even say the name, because that whole you go to say the name, the title card plays joke, it's played out. Everyone's doing it. This channel is about originality, okay? That's why we're reviewing other people's content. But anyways, no, we're not gonna make that joke. It's been done way too many times before. So this show, season 3, as you know, just came out, and it was No. Incredible. I said it was not. I didn't even say. Okay, anyways, we're gonna talk about season 3 in this video, obviously. Do a quick review, my thoughts on how it translated from comic to screen. But a majority of this video is gonna be talking about season 4 and what we can expect for the next season based off of the comics and based off of some other stuff that they've posted on their social media. So if you don't want spoilers for season 4, just leave. Just, yeah, the door is right there. Just get out. Just go. Season 3 of Invincible, so great. It was fantastic.
Say that again?
I really found it hilarious how the budget was very clearly saved to the last 2 episodes of this season. And it paid off. I'm glad they did it, because the animation in these last 2 episodes was flawless. It was fantastic. Mark's hair, it was perfect. Everything about it was great. The fight choreography, the dialogue, the things that they added that weren't in the comics, everything came together, and it made probably the best episodes of the show by far. I was really waiting for that escalation from season 1, because for me, the end of season 1 hit so hard, and nothing has been able to really build upon that yet. Season 2 was great, of course, but Angstrom Levy just did not feel like a comparable enough villain to Omni-Man. It didn't feel as threatening to me, right? Because I knew that Mark could take him one-on-one. However, throwing 7 different versions of Mark at him, 7, 8, I think there were 11 actually.
Are you sure?
I was way off. Throwing all these different versions of Mark at himself really poses a threat. And then on top of that, you have one of the strongest Viltrumites, a Viltrumite that other Viltrumites themselves are afraid of. And you just pile this on top of each other, and it creates this 2-part finale that not only builds upon the fear that was put in us at the end of the first season, but provides a satisfying elevation from what we've seen in the show, right? If there is no elevation, if we're going to go season from season and just kind of keep trudging along, but there's not going to be anything to really take us to that next level, for me, there's not a point in continuing, and this shows me that not only are they able to do that, they're able to do it and knock it out of the park. Now, after the second season came out, I bought all the compendiums for this show and read all of the comics. And I can say confidently that this adapts the comics flawlessly. When you have things like the Conquest fight that are fights that span multiple issues in the comics, and it's a lot of just fighting and dialogue and monologues and more fighting, it can get repetitive in the animation format if you don't do it right. It got repetitive for me a little bit in the comics because there just wasn't enough variation, but it was still done well, and the animation for me, it just takes it to another level. It cements this as probably one of the best fights I've seen in fiction. Specifically, I like the scene that they added with Conquest, kind of trauma dumping on Mark.
I am so lonely. All the other Viltrumites are scared of me. No one talks to me. No one wants to be my friend. They think I am unstable.
That was not originally in the comics, and I really like what Ryan Ottley, the artist for Invincible, had to say about this scene, because Robert Kirkman, the writer for Invincible, is a very big part of these scripts and is helping get this show made. And he's kind of rewriting it, as Ryan Ottley says, in like a second draft almost. Like, he has already written all of Invincible, right? But this is him kind of being able to take a step back, seeing what worked, seeing what didn't work, and adding things that he thinks will improve it And it really is giving us the best version of the show that is possible and these characters as a whole, which I really appreciate. Also, it should be said that we finally got Adam Eve at her prime. We finally got her using her powers to the fullest, and I think that was awesome. I know a lot of people were waiting for that moment. I was waiting for it, having known that it was coming in the comics. It was better than just seeing her put up, walls of glass. But yeah, I think that was also handled flawlessly, and I like that she was basically the one that took down Conquest. Like, she weakened him for Mark, because it shows us that Mark isn't fully capable of taking down a Viltrumite himself yet, and it will leave us a little bit more concerned when he is confronted with other Viltrumites in the future. Like I said before, it's a great way to elevate, but it also didn't take the stakes away completely and show us that we don't need to be afraid of Viltrumites anymore. Overall, these last 2 episodes alone of the season probably made it my favorite season out of the 3. I only really had one issue with it, and that was it was a little bit repetitive in the other episodes. I loved the addition of Powerplex. I loved all that stuff, but specifically the Mark and Adam Eve stuff just got a little bit, I don't know, it kind of got into the weeds for me. I just noticed that in every episode there would be a scene with them on the roof of the house, and it would be Mark complaining about something, Adam Eve telling him that it would be okay, and then him being like, "You're right, I love you." Which is like, 1 or 2 of those scenes is great, it's cute, I like them as a couple, but we're just going to keep doing it over and over again. For me, that again takes away the value of this scene. It takes away the value of their relationship, having those heart-to-hearts. If it is every single episode, and it is in the same setting and same context almost, it just kind of lost that value after a few times for me. But overall, I loved the season, and I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I wish there was a little bit more time spent on animating just some parts, some other fight scenes throughout the show. And like I said, I wish we didn't get those repetitive scenes. We kind of brought something a little bit new. But other than that, I loved it, and I can't wait for the 4th season. So speaking of the 4th season, let's get into some of the stuff that is coming up.
Are you sure?
So, stuff that they teased at the end of Season 3. Starting with the Sequids, I think that's what they're called, Sequids. The little pink squid guys that come up like every season, and they're like, ah. They're like the mind control squids. They're like the ripoff of Starro from the DC universe. So, they are coming back, and this is probably the first time that they're like really posing a threat, in my opinion. Their arc in Season 4, they kind of take over a lot of space. This is like a severe issue for Mark. They take over a lot of heroes, including Robot, and it just kind of adds more stakes because it is on Earth this time. After this arc, I don't think we see much more of them. I think this is kind of the end of the Sequid stuff. Conquest, of course, Cecil kept him alive because that's what Cecil does. And it's actually really funny because in the comics, at least, this 4th season, Conquest wakes up, he becomes conscious again after kind of healing, and he just leaves. Like, without issue, he just leaves the planet. And so, he's back. He's out, ready to cause more harm. And Cecil is an idiot, basically.
I'm an idiot! You're an idiot! You're an idiot!
From there, the 2 other things that I remember them teasing from the Season 3 finale are Adam Eve's powers being weird, and this story with, like, the devil and a cult. This is something that is not in the comics at all. This is something brand new, and this is what I'm most excited about for the new season, because it is something we've never seen before. It was a cut story from the comics, something that they either didn't have time for or just didn't feel like it fit as well in the comic setting. But it's coming back. We are getting these extra added scenes. And again, this is what I love so much about the show, is it can take what works from the other comics, the other source material, and what doesn't, and kind of add stuff and cut stuff and move stuff around. So it is really, truly the best version that we can get of these characters in these stories. So Adam Eve's powers are messing up because, and I will give you time to leave again if for some reason you're still here, because this is a huge spoiler. Her powers are messed up because she is pregnant. Yeah. Adam Eve's pregnant. it is Mark's. That would be, I mean, it would definitely make for an interesting storyline if it wasn't. But no, it's Mark's. The pregnancy arc is really interesting, and the idea of Mark having a kid is a really cool concept to me because it kind of brings to the forefront his father issues, right? And that creates a really interesting struggle on top of what we see with this season, right? Where he's struggling with, should he kill or should he not? Should he kind of take that leap towards being more like his father? And at the end of the season, he says he is. He says, if necessary, he will kill again. And that's something we also see and will see in season 4, is Mark will kill people. Not everyone, he won't go on a rampage like Omni-Man, but when it's necessary, Mark does start killing people. And it kind of brings to light the fruition of like the black suit Spider-Man arc, right? Mark is still in his black and blue suit, and it's kind of more of the dark version of him. And so after he kind of gets this taste for blood and starts killing a little bit more, and he finally comes to his senses and is like, no, killing is still wrong. It's still not necessary. He comes back into his yellow suit, and we're going to see classic Invincible again, and I love that suit. A few things that weren't teased at the end that are going to be very important in season 4, like at least the first 2 episodes, I think are going to be solely focused on Omni-Man and Alan. They kind of have the most growth, I would say, in this season, because they're kind of on a buddy cop mission, right? They are officially teamed up and they're going to try to stop the Viltrum Empire. And so they're going through the galaxy. They're meeting with the head of the Coalition of Planets, I think is what it's called. But they are officially putting plans in motion to end the war and kill all the Viltrumites. And Omni-Man is on his official redemption arc. And I think the last episode of season 4, it's going to end with Mark, Omni-Man, Alan, Oliver, all of them finally being in the same room together, hashing it out and getting ready for this war. And they're going to go up to space, and Mark's going to see conquest again. And I think that's how season 4 is going to end. All right, that is the final page in one of the comics, and I think we're going to be spending most of this season building up to the start of the war, and then season 5 is going to be a complete war arc. I would say season 4 is driven specifically by characters from what I've read in the comics. Seasons 1, 2, and 3, they had a lot of fight scenes in them, and they kind of built up to this one big end fight. I don't think season 4 is going to do that. I really don't. Based off the content they have, aside from that other storyline they're adding, it is very character driven. It is focusing more on Mark dealing with killing people, Eve dealing with being pregnant, Nolan dealing with what he did to his family and coming back to Earth and recognizing that and having to really cope with the trauma he's caused. Even Oliver interacting with his father, who he's never met before. All of this is very character driven, and so for me at least, I don't think there needs to be a big fight scene, right? We're getting all this emotionally rich storytelling, so I don't think we're going to get a big conclusive end battle. And by doing this, it kind of primes us, wanting more fights, more things, getting ready for that war arc in season 5, which will be a lot of just straight battling. Overall, I'm very excited for season 4. Let me know what you guys think. If there's anything I missed from the comics, anything you're excited to see for season 4, definitely like, definitely subscribe. I think that's all I got for this video. It was awesome just to kind of be able to look back at these comics again, because it's been about a year since I read them. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.